So it looks like the behaviors are all conglomerated. The gluttony and the sloth are conglomerated together, but they're actually all because of changes in cellular physiology that are occurring simultaneously due to the changes in these biochemical checkpoints, which are subject to reactive oxygen species. And as long as the reactive oxygen species stay low, you can burn. When they start getting high, that tells the cell it's got to store because it can't handle it. So it actually makes physiologic and teleologic sense that this would be a control point. And then the obesogen model is the fourth model. And it turns out that almost all the obesogens generate reactive oxygen species.
Mm-hmm. So that's why those two fit together so well.
They fit together very well.
Mm-hmm.
And so the redox obesogen together model actually explain both the carbohydrate insulin model because it's driving the insulin, and it also explains the energy balance model too because of the eating and burning. So in fact, it's really a unifying hypothesis that brings all the models together, but it actually identifies the ROSs as the thing to target. And so now the question is, can we set up a research experiment to answer that question? And we're in the process of doing that now.
Mm-hmm. I want to, in just the few minutes that we have left, I want to ask you about a striking relationship that I've heard people attempt to explain, but I'm wondering if you have a better explanation that might involve things like reactive oxygen species, mitochondria, and obesogens. And that is the striking correlation, at least in the continental US, between geography and in particular altitude and obesity rates.
Yep.
Everyone looks at Colorado, which I believe has the lowest obesity rates or among the lowest. And typically the default answer there is, well, people move to Colorado because they love the outdoors and they go hiking a lot.
Yep.
What's going on?
Right. So everybody thinks Colorado's less obese because they have a great lifestyle. Garbage. Colorado's less obese because it's cold and high. And every place that's cold and high has less obesity. The heat map on altitude and obesity are virtually identical. Another example is Switzerland versus Germany. Same, sauce-laden food, was it Kalbsfleischmischlag, bottom line, Germany's obese and Switzerland's not. And it's not because of skiing. It's because of altitude. Okay, because Switzerland's high and Germany's not. So what's happening? Well, because you are in a rarefied atmosphere, because you are mildly hypoxic, you have to push your mitochondria harder to generate more ATP because the oxygen tension is lower. So you need more mitochondria. So in the same way exercise generates mitochondria, which is true, it does. And I'm not saying exercise is bad, it's good. Okay. Altitude generates mitochondria. And exercise at altitude, well, that's great. Then you're an alpine skier. Okay, and that's fine. Okay, but for the rest of us, mere mortals, okay, altitude basically does what exercise does in terms of generating increased mitochondrial capacity. And that's why Colorado is less obese. Also because it's colder, so you have to generate more body heat in the first place. So it's not that Colorado is not less obese. It is. The question is the reason because of an active lifestyle? And the answer is no, it's not because of an active lifestyle. It's because of the geography, the altitude.
Another way of saying that would be you could transport someone from somewhere else, say Louisiana into Colorado, change nothing about their lifestyle, nothing about their exercise or eating habits, and you would expect them to actually lose weight.
Yeah, exactly. You expect them to lose weight. This concept of hypoxia reducing energy energy utilization and actually contributing to longevity has actually been shown in animals. So if you actually expose animals to hypoxic regimens, like instead of 20% oxygen, 11% oxygen, okay, they live 3 times longer. This was work done by a colleague here at UCSF by the name of Isha Jain, looking at the role of hypoxia in longevity. And the reason is because of reduction in reactive oxygen species formation. So, it's all internally consistent.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you got to make your mitochondria work better.
Yeah, so much of it comes down to the mitochondria. I think
It
knowing
does.
everything I know today, if I had to go back and go through school again and go through the academic science track, I think I would probably study something about mitochondria, probably in the brain, because
I
I
hear
think
you.
that's just a fascinating area and an important one right now.
I couldn't agree more, Nick. I've become a self-taught mitochondriologist, and it's hard. It's complex to be sure, but the data are coming in from various you know directions and different places in science, demonstrating that mitochondrial function is perhaps the single most important nidus for understanding the diseases that ail us.
Mhm.
That this is really where the rubber hits the road. I refer you to a colleague at University of California, San Diego, by the name of Robert Navio, Naviaux, and he has done enormous work on reactive oxygen species, external ATP to the cell, and the inflammatory response, and how mitochondria fit into all of that. It's this is shall we say, a hot topic.
Mhm. We've just got a couple minutes left, so I'm going to do a very simple question that is very practical for people. But given so health and nutrition and metabolism, it's sort of an inherently difficult area. And I don't just mean like the subject matter is complicated, but there's a lot of motivated reasoning. There's a lot of conflicting opinions, even among credentialed experts.